When life strikes with its hardest blows, many will falter and retreat. But for a select few, those very moments become the springboard for an extraordinary ascent. What is the secret they hold that others miss? It's not about chance, nor is it a superficial optimism. It's a profound shift in perspective, a disciplined way of seeing the world. Remaining truly positive isn't about ignoring the difficulties or pretending everything is fine. Instead, it's about acknowledging the storm, and even then, deliberately choosing to build, to create. Because when resilience is forged in the fires of adversity, it transforms into an indomitable power. This is how you bend without fracturing, how you ascend while others recede. The fundamental question then becomes, when life puts you to the test, will you surrender to the pressure, or will you choose to remain illuminated from within? In the moments ahead, we'll explore how to cultivate unwavering inner strength and maintain a constructive outlook, even when circumstances feel overwhelmingly challenging. The mind's battlefield. Your mind truly is the arena where every significant battle is won or lost. There will be days when the world feels as though it's closing in, when the metaphorical sky darkens, and the winds howl with an onslaught of problems. You might feel buried beneath the heavy weight of worry, but consider this. Where does the true tempest rage? Is it outside, in the external world, or within the landscape of your own thoughts? Life doesn't crush you with the challenges it presents. It crushes you with how you choose to interpret those challenges. And so the ultimate conflict isn't out there. It begins and concludes within your own consciousness. You must grasp this truth. Every obstacle, every perceived failure, every moment of discomfort is not your ultimate adversary. The true opponent is the inner voice that whispers, "This is the end." Yet, what if you could train your mind to respond with a resounding, "This is just the beginning"? Visualize this. You find yourself navigating a hallway cloaked in complete darkness. Most people would halt, overcome by panic. But you extend your hand, feeling for the wall, taking one cautious yet deliberate step forward. That, in essence, is belief. That is genuine power. You might ask, what if I falter once more? What if the pain intensifies? The answer is simple. You rise again. You cultivate a consistent habit of resilience. Not just once, not merely twice, but every single day. Just as a blacksmith molds iron through the intense heat of the fire, the deliberate strike of the hammer, the rhythmic consistency of repetition, so too must you shape your mind. You either command your thoughts, or they will command you. So honestly ask yourself, are you nurturing courage, or are you feeding the seeds of doubt? When your mind is dominated by apprehension, every challenge appears as an insurmountable monster. But when governed by unwavering faith, every challenge is merely another summit to scale. You hold the power to decide whether today becomes a symbol of defeat or a pivotal turning point. The decision isn't in what unfolds. It's in how you frame what unfolds. Purpose fuels perseverance. Purpose possesses the profound ability to carry you through profound pain. Discomfort only becomes unbearable when it feels meaningless. But the moment you connect your suffering to a higher purpose, it miraculously transforms into potent fuel. You were not created to endure blindly. You were designed to endure with direction. Consider a person digging a tunnel with their bare hands. They may bleed, they may bruise, but they persist because they know that on the other side, there is light, there is freedom, something truly worth fighting for. It isn't the hardship itself that breaks them. It's when they lose sight of what they are striving toward. So, I ask you, what precisely are you striving toward? When life delivers a blow, your initial reaction might be to question, why me? But consciously shift that to, for what purpose? For what lesson is this preparing me? For what future calling am I being forged? See every struggle as a sacred training ground, not a form of punishment, but as preparation for what lies ahead. Imagine yourself trekking through a relentless downpour, thoroughly drenched and chilled. Yet, clutched firmly in your hand is a crucial message you absolutely must deliver, a message the world desperately needs. Would you stop, or would you press onward? Purpose makes the pain bearable, even meaningful. And in every moment you feel the urge to quit, remember this. There is someone waiting on the other side of your perseverance. Perhaps it's your future self, the person you are destined to become. Perhaps it's your children, or perhaps it's someone observing your unwavering example. Never allow temporary discomfort to rob you of an eternal reward. The individual with a defined mission walks taller, even through the fiercest storm. So, what is your mission? Name it, claim it, and let it propel you relentlessly forward. The power of expectation. You ultimately become what you profoundly expect. A person who anticipates. Failure often loses long before the actual battle even begins. Expectation is not merely a silent thought. It is a dynamic force, a powerful magnet, a builder or a breaker of destinies. You don't necessarily get what you merely wish for. You get what you deeply expect. Walk through life expecting failure, and your steps will become heavy, your gaze will drop, and your voice will falter. But walk through life expecting greatness, and something truly powerful begins to stir within you. Shoulders straighten, eyes gain a sharper focus, and your actions intensify. This isn't because the external world has changed, but because your inner world has taken command. Now, reflect. What are your dominant expectations? Are you waking up anticipating fresh opportunities or impending disaster? Are you preparing for significant growth or for inevitable retreat? Consider two farmers. One meticulously prepares the soil, sharpens their tools, and plants with utmost care. The other simply observes the sky and mutters, "It might not rain." Which of these two will ultimately reap a bountiful harvest? You must diligently train your mind to expect victory, not merely to hope for it, but to expect it. This doesn't imply blind arrogance. It signifies a trained confidence. It means declaring, "I will succeed because I must succeed. I will expand because I refuse to remain small." So examine your life, your relationships, your well-being, your financial state. What are your current expectations constructing within these areas? And more crucially, are you courageous enough to elevate those expectations? Resilience. A daily choice. You don't become resilient by simply reading about it. You become resilient by living it, not just once or twice, but consistently, every single day. Resilience isn't a singular moment of incredible strength. It is a daily commitment to show up, to persist, to rebuild. There will be moments when opportunities vanish, when those you trusted most depart without explanation, when the plans you poured all your energy into crumble like fragile paper in the rain. And in those profound moments, you will face a crucial decision. Will I retreat or will I rebuild? That choice itself is the very seed of resilience. Your physical strength, your intelligence, your achievements, these are not the source of true resilience. Resilience is forged not in moments of grand applause, but in moments of profound silence. When no one is watching, when no one is cheering, when only you truly know the cost of rising again. Picture a skilled craftsman, chisel in hand, whose masterpiece suddenly breaks halfway through. The grain splits. Hours of meticulous carving are seemingly wasted. Does he curse the material? No. Does he toss aside his tools in frustration? No. He begins anew with patience, with precision, with unwavering purpose. Why? Because the vision he holds is more powerful than the setback he just encountered. And what about your journey? Perhaps your dreams have shattered right at their peak. Perhaps someone you deeply cared for turned their back. Perhaps the career you painstakingly built vanished in an instant. But the undeniable truth remains. You can start anew. Not weaker, not consumed by bitterness, but profoundly wiser. You are not broken. You are built. Built by every fall you endured. Every tear you silently shed. Every no you transformed into a louder yes. Resilience isn't the absence of pain. It is the absolute refusal to be defined by it. So I ask you today, what would happen if you unequivocally decided to be unbreakable? What transformations would occur if instead of fearing another fall, you prepared yourself to rise even stronger from it? The world doesn't require more perfection. It doesn't need more people chasing external validation. It needs more individuals like you, those who understand how to experience loss and still lead, how to grieve deeply and still build persistently. Every morning you make the choice to rise again. You are actively writing a story worth being told. And that story, it's not defined by what tried to stop you. It's defined by what utterly refused to keep you down. Your resilience is your quiet, yet powerful, defiant anthem, not of what you merely endured, but of the magnificent person you ultimately became. So make your decision now. Will you retreat or will you rebuild? Because the profound truth is, you were never destined to remain down. You were born to rise. Self-belief, the first wealth before any significant fortune is amassed, before any empire is constructed. An individual must first cultivate unwavering belief in themselves. Long before gold fills their coffers or success crowns their name, there exists an inner whisper that dares to declare, "I can." This profound whisper is not a product of external riches, nor is it taught in formal education. It is unearthed in moments of quiet introspection, in the solitude of confronting one's own truth. Self-belief is not vanity. It is a fundamental responsibility. Because if you doubt your inherent worth, you will inevitably doubt the value of your efforts. And if you cannot trust your own footing, you will never take that crucial first step. You cannot effectively lead a team, deeply inspire a family, or construct a lasting legacy if you haven't first accepted that your voice holds significance. Your thoughts possess value, and your actions carry weight. Consider the seasoned captain of a ship navigating through uncharted, treacherous waters. The stars may offer guidance, but the crew's trust, their very adherence, hinges on the captain's confidence. If he trembles with every gust of wind, the entire vessel will sway. If he questions his chosen course, the voyage will inevitably stall. But if his hands remain steady and his voice unwavering, even the most violent storm seems to pay heed. You are that captain. And your belief in yourself must anchor you more profoundly than any fear could ever sink you. Now visualize yourself standing before a monumental door. On the other side, there lies opportunity, destiny, your truest calling. But above the frame, a sign is etched. Only those who believe may enter. This is not merely a metaphor, this is reality. Most people hesitate. They await absolute proof before they dare to act. They anticipate applause before they utter a single word. But you must choose to simply walk through. To knock, not because you are certain of the answer that awaits, but because you are absolutely certain of your capacity to navigate whatever outcome emerges. Ask yourself, with a sense of genuine urgency, what would fundamentally change in your life if you wholeheartedly trusted yourself? What grand dreams would you finally pursue? What risks would you cease to avoid? What worn-out excuses would you permanently discard? Belief is not a luxury. It is the fundamental root of all progress. It is the very first stone laid in every enduring foundation. Every empire, every groundbreaking invention, every transformative idea began with an individual who unequivocally decided they were worth the effort. And if, today, you don't yet possess this deep conviction, then consciously act as someone who does. Carry yourself with unshakable conviction. Speak with measured strength. Move with deliberate purpose. Because the mind will ultimately follow the body's courage. Action often precedes belief, and unwavering belief precedes every victory truly worth earning. No one grants you permission to believe in yourself. You must claim it. And once you do, the world begins to respond, not because it has altered, but because you have not. So stand tall, walk forward. And before you attempt to build any external dream, remember to first build the internal belief. Because the person who confidently declares, "I can," changes everything, starting with their own existence. Discipline, the inner fire when darkness seems to engulf you. You don't necessarily need more light from external sources. What you truly need is a fire burning brightly within you. And that inner fire is called discipline. Not the harsh, punishing kind, but the steady, self-directed force that gently, yet persistently, whispers, "No matter what unfolds, I will keep going." Discipline doesn't arrive with a flourish or a grand announcement. It doesn't knock on your door, accompanied by applause. It begins in quiet moments, in small, deliberate choices. Waking up when you committed to it. Completing the task you promised yourself you would. Choosing honesty even when deceit would be simpler. Listening attentively when you'd rather speak. Every time you choose to embrace what builds you and consciously reject what dismantles you, You feed the flame that illuminates your path. You construct your inner lantern, shining ever brighter. Picture yourself ascending a solitary mountain. The weather is brutal, the sky darkens ominously, and there's no sign of the peak. Your muscles ache, the air grows thin. Yet, you take one step, then another. Not because the path is easy, but because there's an unwavering voice within that declares, "This is who I am." That voice wasn't born overnight. It was painstakingly built, brick by brick, through consistent acts of discipline. Not in dramatic, public moments, but in those quiet, unseen times, when no one else was observing, when quitting felt like the path of least resistance, when comfort whispered its alluring song. You didn't succumb. You deliberately chose the harder right over the easier wrong. Ask yourself now, have you been waiting for the perfect mood to initiate your transformation? Have you been passively hoping that motivation will strike you like lightning? Or are you actively training yourself to move forward, regardless of the emotional climate within your soul? Those who master their own destiny do not rely on fleeting emotion. They rely on consistent practice. They cultivate consistency with the same dedication a soldier hones their strength. Daily, repeatedly, faithfully. Discipline does not shout. It does not beg for attention. It whispers. And if you are quiet enough to truly hear it, and humble enough to genuinely obey it, it will guide you to a destination few ever reach. A place where peace is not granted through ease, but earned through diligent effort. Where your joy remains unshaken by external circumstances, precisely because it was not built upon fleeting comfort. Storms are an inevitable part of life. That is not a question. Pain will test your resolve. Doubt will attempt to infiltrate your mind. Fatigue will whisper, "Just rest a little longer." But if your fundamental foundation is constructed from daily discipline, no storm can sweep you away. Your anchor will hold firm. Your steps will remain steady. Your purpose will continue to burn brightly. Discipline is not a burden. It is a profound gift. It is a defined path, a solemn promise you make to yourself, and every day you uphold that promise, your inner flame grows stronger. So when the world seems to dim and the way forward appears obscured, do not seek external rescue. Instead, rekindle your inner fire, ignite your own lantern, and walk on. Because, in the end, the most enduring light emanates not from the sky, but from within your own disciplined spirit. Gratitude, the gateway to power you, cannot simultaneously harbor bitterness and truly experience blessing. One clenches your fists, while the other opens your hands in acceptance. One narrows your vision, while the other expands your spirit. Bitterness constructs walls. Gratitude builds bridges. One isolates you. The other fosters connection. If you aspire to rise, you must make a conscious choice. Will you dwell on what you perceive as missing, or will you awaken to the abundance of what still remains? Gratitude is not a soft, passive virtue. It is a formidable force. It is a deliberate discipline. It is a potent weapon in the ongoing battle against despair. While many perceive it as mere sentiment, you must learn to recognize it as a powerful strategy. Gratitude is the master key that unlocks inner strength, unwavering courage, and crystal-clear vision. It profoundly alters your inner state, your external demeanor, and the very trajectory of your life. You might think, what do I possibly have to be thankful for when everything around me is crumbling? But that, precisely, is the true test. Gratitude doesn't await the cessation of the storm. It begins its work right within the storm itself. It doesn't wait for comfort to arrive. It actively creates clarity amidst the chaos. Can you discern the hidden gift within the struggle, the invaluable lesson within the loss, the resilient seed concealed within the storm? Gratitude is not simply discovered, it is forged. It is painstakingly hammered out in the crucible of disappointment, in the intense heat of heartbreak, in the profound ache of unfulfilled expectations. It doesn't appear fully formed. It is meticulously built, choice by conscious choice, repeatedly. Imagine this scenario. You lose your job. Your established routine vanishes. Your steady income disappears. But in that sudden, uncomfortable stillness, you discover an unexpected time to reassess your path, to question what you've truly been pursuing. You begin to perceive not just what was taken, but what new possibilities could now be constructed. Or perhaps a significant relationship ends. The silence feels suffocating. But in that quiet space, your own voice gradually grows louder. You reconnect with a version of yourself that may have been buried beneath years of compromise, or consider a plan that fails, shattering into countless pieces. Yet in the aftermath, amidst the rubble, you unearth stronger materials with which to rebuild. Not the same plan, but a superior one, now perfectly aligned with a clearer, more defined vision. Every single trial carries a hidden treasure, if only you dare to truly look for it. Every setback conceals a seed of future growth. The critical question is, will you actively seek it out? Honestly ask yourself, what blessings am I currently overlooking that I could be deeply appreciating? Is it the simple act of breathing, your ability to think clearly, the profound fact that you are still here, capable of attempting again? Gratitude commences with the ordinary, the often ignored, the things we typically take for granted. The warmth of the morning sun on your skin, the refreshing taste of water when you're parched, the friend who genuinely reaches out, the inner strength you never realized you possessed until you were compelled to use it. It doesn't demand a perfect existence. It simply requests an open heart. Gratitude is not the final outcome of achieving everything you desire. It is the initial fuel that empowers you to navigate through everything you must endure. It fundamentally shifts your perspective from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance, from feeling not enough to realizing more than I knew was possible. You were never promised a life of ease. That was never the agreement. But you were given a mind capable of reframing any reality. You were granted the power to choose your focus, what you amplify, and what you build upon. Use this power. Don't allow bitterness to blind you. Open your eyes. Begin each day not with a complaint, but with a powerful question. What strengths can I uncover today through the practice of thankfulness? The individual who asks that question eventually becomes truly invincible. Because while pain is an inevitable part of life, despair is always an optional response. While circumstances can undeniably shake you, they cannot shatter the spirit of someone firmly grounded in gratitude. You transform into a beacon, steady, radiant, unyielding. Gratitude is a conscious posture, a cultivated habit, a powerful act of rebellion against the encroaching darkness. And the more you actively practice it, the more profoundly resilient you become. Not because life suddenly becomes simpler, but because you grow exponentially stronger. So today, choose to see what genuinely remains. Choose to honor the hidden blessings. Choose to vocalize your thanks into the silence. Because every time you do, you exchange bitterness for unwavering boldness. You exchange sorrow for newfound strength. You exchange paralyzing fear for unshakable faith. And in that sacred exchange, you discover not just peace but true, profound power. Your circle shapes your strength. Show me your closest companions, and I will show you your trajectory for the future. Who you choose to walk alongside largely determines how far you will ultimately ascend. The direction of your life is frequently found mirroring the footsteps of those you keep company with. Walk with those who embody greatness, and you too will rise. Linger with those who harbor doubt, and your own dreams will inevitably shrink to accommodate their limitations. Energy is undeniably contagious, not merely in moments of celebration, but in the quiet, unassuming spaces where daily habits are formed. Surround yourself with individuals who consistently complain, who constantly make excuses, who perpetually delay action. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, your own inner fire will begin to dim. Your standards will subtly lower. Your aspirations will lose their vibrancy. You will gradually begin to accept what once felt utterly unacceptable. This insidious shift doesn't happen with one grand decision, but through 1,000 tiny compromises. However, when you deliberately surround yourself with those who challenge you, who live with a profound sense of purpose, who expand your way of thinking, who simply refuse to let you settle for less, you begin to transform. Not because they force you, but because their very presence serves as a constant reminder of the incredible person you are capable of becoming. Their discipline awakens your own. Their clarity sharpens your perspective. Their courage stirs your own dormant bravery. You rise through reflection. You grow through genuine proximity. Imagine yourself attempting to cross a wide, formidable river. Alone, you quickly tire. The current wears you down, and every stroke feels heavier than the last. But now, envision others rowing powerfully alongside. You perfectly matching your rhythm, speaking words of encouragement when doubt attempts to creep in. You will not only move forward more swiftly, but you will do so with a profound sense of joy. That is the true power of aligned fellowship, not just company, but genuine comradeship. Not just mere presence, but a deeply interwoven partnership. Ask yourself, who do you confide in when the weight of the world feels heavy? Who genuinely listens, not just to formulate a response, but to truly understand? Who sharpens your ideas, challenges your deepest fears, and pushes you to venture further than your self-imposed limitations? If you find yourself consistently being the most intelligent, the most disciplined, or the most driven person in the room, it's not because you don't belong. It's because you are meant for greater expansion. And genuine growth demands a certain level of constructive friction. Friction that comes from people unafraid to see more potential in you than you sometimes perceive in yourself. This isn't about social status or external prestige. It's profoundly about alignment. Alignment with individuals who honor your deepest calling, who firmly refuse to let you drift aimlessly, who gently, or sometimes boldly, remind you that you are designed for something more, that mediocrity is not your destined home. True allies don't merely flatter you. They meticulously refine you. They don't applaud the mask you wear. They champion your authentic potential. They don't just passively sit through your storms. They actively help you construct genuine shelter within them. And when you falter, they don't harshly judge your misstep. They extend a helping hand and uphold a higher standard. If you are genuinely committed to remaining strong through life's inevitable storms, conduct an honest audit of your inner circle. Evaluate not just who is physically present around you, but what kind of energy and ambition they are drawing out of you. Are they reinforcing your weaknesses, or are they actively calling forth your innate strengths? Are they feeding your anxieties, or are they fortifying your faith? Then, deliberately reinforce your circle. Build with intention. Choose allies who embody ambition, unwavering faith, and consistent action. People who will support your spiritual growth and meticulously plan alongside you. Who celebrate your victories and gently challenge your complacency. Who understands that true loyalty isn't mere agreement, but deep alignment with your highest good. Yes, the solitary wolf might survive, but mere survival is rarely the ultimate goal. The truly thriving individual, they flourish within a pack driven by purpose, within a tribe committed to transformation, within a circle that mirrors not just where they are in the present, but precisely where they are destined to go. So, choose your company with the profound understanding that your future depends upon it, because it truly does. Walk with those who speak life into your existence, who embody truth, who carry a grand vision. And soon, you will look back and realize you didn't just advance further. You became fundamentally better. Together, action cures fear. Fear is not vanquished by prolonged contemplation. It is decisively overcome by courageous action. You cannot simply outthink fear, nor can you logically reason it into silence. The longer you dwell with it, the louder its whispers become. It thrives in the fertile shadows of procrastination, magnifying every worst-case scenario, planting insidious what-ifs, until you become utterly paralyzed. But the precise moment you take action, fear immediately begins to lose its suffocating grip. Like the morning fog dissipating under the rising sun, it fades significantly in the presence of deliberate motion. You might protest, but I'm simply not ready yet. Let me offer a crucial reminder. No one ever feels entirely ready. Readiness is a pervasive myth. Action is the undeniable truth. You don't wait until you are completely fearless to move. You simply move. And in doing so, you systematically cultivate true courage. Every brave soul you admire, every trailblazer, began their journey not with absolute certainty, but with a single, often shaky, step. Picture someone standing before a colossal, imposing wall. It looms, cold and towering, a stark monument to everything they believe they cannot accomplish. The wall seems to mock them, listing their past failures, echoing their deepest doubts. And so they remain frozen, trapped. But the instant they reach out, find a small handhold, and lift a foot, something profound shifts. The wall itself doesn't physically shrink, but the climber undeniably grows. Each handhold taken, each foothold earned, subtly alters the internal balance. Why? Because action intrinsically makes you larger than your fears. Fear desperately wants you to forget this fundamental truth. What is it that you are currently hesitating on? A decision that could profoundly alter the course of your life? A difficult conversation you've been deliberately avoiding? A long-held dream you've buried beneath the vague promise of someday? Fear cherishes hesitation. It feeds voraciously on delay. It thrives in the vast chasm between knowing what needs to be done and actually doing it. But you can decisively break its hold with one bold, intentional step. Crucially, do not wait for the feeling of confidence to appear. It rarely shows up uninvited. Confidence is not a prerequisite. It is a direct result. You generate confidence through consistent motion. You build unwavering belief by simply beginning. Write that difficult letter. Take that long-postponed walk. Launch that audacious idea. Allow your physical actions to lead your beliefs. Action is not merely a reaction to life circumstances. It is the very mechanism by which you actively shape your life. You are not a mere passenger on the journey toward your purpose. You are the one firmly at the wheel. And the wheel only responds when you consciously move it. In the ongoing war between paralyzing fear and your promising future, unwavering motion is your sharpest sword. It effortlessly cuts through doubt. It precisely slices through hesitation. And the most empowering part? That sword is perpetually within your reach. Every time you choose to act, no matter how small the initial step, you literally rewire your brain. You fundamentally shift the internal narrative from "I can't" to "I'm trying." And then from "I'm trying" to "I'm doing." Fear will undoubtedly still whisper. That is its inherent nature. But you are not obligated to listen. Your response should be not with prolonged arguments, but with decisive action. So ask yourself, what is one single thing I can do today that fear absolutely does not want me to do? Then, do it. Not tomorrow, now. Because the longer you postpone, the more entrenched fear becomes. But the very moment you move, fear undeniably weakens. You were never meant to be confined by doubt. You were inherently designed to create, to ascend, to conquer. And none of that happens while remaining still. So rise, move, do. Let action lead the way, let courage naturally follow, and allow fear to fall far behind you, precisely where it belongs. Legacy is built in the now. Legacy is not merely something you leave behind when your time is done. It is something you actively construct while you are still alive and breathing. It is not exclusively reserved for the globally famous or the extraordinarily fortunate. It is not primarily about grand marble statues or resounding public speeches. Legacy is fundamentally about how you choose to live each day, in the present moment. It's not about being remembered at some distant point in the future. It's about living in such a way that you are remembered now, in the hearts of those you genuinely touch, in the eyes of those you lead, and in the deliberate choices you make. Even when no one else is observing, you might wonder, what can I realistically do that will truly matter? The answer lies not in a single, isolated act, but in the consistent, overarching pattern of your life. Every decision you make is a brick. Every word you utter is a stone. Every action you take is a supporting beam. Over time, these individual pieces meticulously assemble to form a profound monument. The critical question is, what kind of monument are you actively constructing? Will yours be a formidable fortress of excuses, or a resilient temple of courage? A crumbling pile of regrets, or an unshakable tower of perseverance? Imagine observing two builders at work. One rushes through the process, eager to finish quickly, cutting corners and ignoring emerging cracks. The other moves with meticulous care, laying each brick with precise intention, meticulously checking the level, and carefully reinforcing the entire structure. Years later, the profound difference becomes strikingly clear. One structure collapses at the first major storm. The other stands tall, completely unmoved, serving as a steadfast refuge for others. What made that crucial difference? Not merely the materials used, nor solely the tools employed, but the fundamental mindset, the unwavering discipline, and the consistent daily choices. So, ask yourself, how do I genuinely show up when no one is watching? What silent habits am I meticulously building in the quiet hours? What example am I authentically setting with the way I respond to frustration, to perceived failure, to overwhelming fatigue? Whether you influence one person or 1,000, your profound impact begins in those private moments where no applause is heard. Legacy is not forged under the bright glare of the spotlight. It is meticulously shaped in the shadows, in the difficult conversations, in the early mornings and late nights, in the way you genuinely treat those who are unnoticed and overlooked, in the promises you faithfully keep, especially to yourself. It is shaped in the countless times you fall and courageously rise again. You are already actively writing your legacy. It is not passively awaiting some grand gesture. It is dynamically unfolding with every sunrise. Each day is a fresh, blank page. Each choice you make is a sentence. Choose your words with profound care. Choose your deeds with unyielding courage. Let them echo with unwavering strength. The future will not inquire about your mere hopes. It will reflect precisely what you did. Hope is a vital seed. Action is the inevitable harvest. And if your present becomes your conscious gift to tomorrow, then every challenge transforms into something sacred. Every obstacle becomes a powerful opportunity to vividly demonstrate what you truly stand for. You do not require a literal stage to exert influence. You need deep conviction. You need unwavering character. You need consistent dedication. People are watching, even if you don't always perceive them. Your children, your colleagues, your community. They read your life like an unfolding letter. What message are you truly conveying to them? Legacy is not loud. It is profoundly lasting. It is not constructed from fleeting applause. It is meticulously built from deep alignment, when your actions perfectly match your core values, when your words genuinely match your deeds, when your heart leads with integrity and your hands follow with purpose. So, live with clear intention. Speak with unwavering truth. Act with profound honor. Let your legacy become a clear mirror of your inner life, authentic, unwavering, real. Not necessarily perfect, but undeniably powerful. The world may not remember every minute detail of what you accomplished, but they will vividly recall how you made them feel. They will remember your courage when fear would have been the simpler path, your faith when doubt screamed loudest, your relentless perseverance when quitting would have been entirely justified. Legacy is not something discovered at the very end of life. It is actively formed in the midst of it, in your choices, your voice, your presence, the way you rise, the way you serve, the way you love. And when your time on this earth has passed, your legacy will eloquently speak, not through cold stone, but through enduring stories. Not in grand monuments, but in awakened minds. Not in material riches, but in the profound ripple effect you left behind. Build that ripple today. Begin now, and never cease. Setbacks reveal strength. The moments when life emphatically knocks you down are not designed to break you. They are intentionally sent to reveal who you truly are. In those raw moments, something infinitely greater is being unveiled, not your weakness, but your profound inherent strength. You don't genuinely comprehend your own power until strength is the only attribute remaining. And when that pivotal moment arrives, when the world falls silent, and you are face to face with your deepest pain, that is precisely when you're authentic. Self rises to the surface. Many people perceive failure as an absolute dead end. They mistakenly believe it signifies the conclusion of their journey, the definitive end of their story. But failure is not a solid wall. It is a profound mirror. It doesn't halt your progress. It illuminates your path. It reflects what you've been deliberately avoiding, what you've perhaps neglected to confront. It shines an undeniable light on your excuses, your ingrained patterns, your deepest fears. And yes, it can sting. But that sting is sacred, because embedded within it lies the undeniable invitation to grow. Your reactions in the face of failure define you far more profoundly than any victory ever could. Anyone can smile and celebrate in moments of success, but only the truly courageous. Learn to stand again amidst the dust of disappointment. When meticulously crafted plans unravel, when cherished dreams collapse, when the roar of applause fades to silence. These are the undeniable proving grounds of character. Who are you when the crowd has dispersed? Who are you when no one is observing your struggle? Imagine walking a familiar, seemingly safe, and predictable trail. And then, without warning, you suddenly slip into a hidden ditch. You never saw it coming. It wasn't marked. Now you are presented with two distinct choices. You can sit there in the mud, blaming the path, cursing the rain, endlessly reliving every single step that led you there. Or, you can consciously choose to stand up, brush yourself off, look back only long enough to genuinely understand where the path diverged, and then move forward, enriched by that hard-won wisdom. One choice leads inevitably to regret. The other leads directly to profound resilience. And resilience is not about possessing an unbreakable physical body. It is about nurturing an indomitable spirit. It is the deliberate choice to rise when comfort beckons you to remain down. It is standing tall when no one else offers a helping hand. It is the unwavering refusal to allow failure to dictate your identity. You might ask, but how many times must I rise? How many blows can a person absorb and still keep moving forward? The answer is simple. As many times as it takes to stop being genuinely surprised that you can. True strength doesn't manifest before the battle. It is meticulously forged in the fires of adversity. Every single time you get back up, you are not simply starting over. You are starting wiser. You are starting with greater clarity. You are starting with a deeper understanding of both yourself and your true purpose. The greatest stories ever written, in history, in faith, in enduring legends, are not narratives of absolute perfection. They are compelling tales of relentless persistence. They chronicle men and women who were knocked down repeatedly, yet whose unyielding determination ultimately outlasted their temporary defeats. What truly made them great wasn't the absence of failure. It was their courageous and unwavering response to it. You are actively writing your own story right now. This current chapter, the challenging one, the painful one, the confusing one, is not the end. It is a pivotal turning point, a powerful rising point, so release the shame. Let go of the insidious lie that you are somehow behind or broken or unworthy. You are actively becoming wiser, stronger, sharper, more profoundly grounded, more keenly aware. Your story is not about the fall. It is fundamentally about the remarkable person you transform into because you chose to rise. And you will rise again. You were never meant to remain down. You were born to stand tall, to build, to persevere. Because the fall was never intended to defeat you. It was meant to forge you. Rise. Your words shape your world. What you consciously speak becomes what you ultimately experience. Words are not mere ornaments. They are precise blueprints. Every sentence you utter, every belief you whisper to yourself, meticulously lays the foundation for the life that eventually manifests. Speak of defeat, and your life will inevitably bend toward despair. Speak with unwavering faith, and your path will begin to rise up to meet your every step. In the intense furnace of adversity, when the winds howl relentlessly and progress feels utterly stalled, your first and most vital weapon is not physical strength, nor financial resources, nor even brilliant strategy. It is your voice. Not to assign blame, not to plead for mercy, but to boldly declare. Declare who you authentically are. Declare precisely where you are heading. Declare what you will no longer tolerate in your life. Let the world know, not through desperate pleading, but through powerful proclamation. Words are not simply echoes of what currently exists. They are potent seeds of what is yet to be. And just as a tiny seed contains the complete image of the future tree, your words carry the precise shape of your destiny. Imagine yourself tending a garden you deeply wish to flourish. Every day you diligently water it, you meticulously pull weeds, but instead of speaking to the soil with belief and encouragement, you curse it. You declare, nothing ever grows here. This soil is utterly useless. These seeds are a complete waste. Would that garden truly flourish? Or would it wither and shrink under the heavy weight of your pervasive despair? The answer is undeniably obvious. No garden thrives under condemnation. And neither will your life. Your tongue possesses the profound power to either build or to break. You may not fully realize it, but what you consistently say to yourself and to others becomes the very lens through which you perceive reality. If you constantly repeat, "I can't," then you almost certainly won't. If you continually declare, "I never win," then you very likely won't. But if you begin to affirm, "This challenge will not break me. I am made for something more. I will absolutely find a way," then your words begin to meticulously construct the very road beneath your feet. You do not require perfect external circumstances. You do not need every single person to believe in you. You primarily need powerful words. Words forged from profound clarity, unwavering certainty, and resolute conviction. Begin each morning by speaking life into your very being. Not merely vague hope, but deliberate, unshakable certainty. Not just wild, fleeting dreams, but clear, committed decisions. Declare, "Today I will lead myself." Affirm, "I am not defined by my past." Proclaim, "My life is not over. It is just beginning." When fear attempts to infiltrate, do not negotiate with it. Speak directly against it. When doubt knocks at your door, do not entertain its presence. Declare your truth even louder. Silence the destructive tongue of negativity and awaken the powerful voice of destiny residing within you. Because what you consistently say about yourself is far more crucial and impactful than anything anyone else could ever say about you. Ask yourself, what have I been repeatedly telling myself? Am I speaking as a creator of my reality or merely as a critic of it? Have I uttered more words of fear than words of faith? Language is not just about communication. It is about fundamental construction. Every complaint you voice chips a brick away from your foundation. Every word of belief you utter adds another solid stone to your fortress. Choose wisely. Speak like someone actively building a magnificent palace, not someone merely residing in ruins. Your words are a profound prophecy of progress. They travel ahead of you, meticulously preparing the terrain. They can either clear your path or clutter it with hindering debris. When you speak fear, you inadvertently invite obstacles. When you speak faith, you actively summon breakthroughs. Stop verbally enforcing drought over your precious dreams. Stop declaring your grand vision impossible. Stop resigning yourself by saying, "That's just the way I am." Instead, begin to affirm, "I am continuously growing. I am constantly learning. I am becoming unshakable." Life will echo back to you the very words you send out. So speak with deliberate intention. Declare your true identity. Declare your desired future. Speak strength into your perceived weakness, clarity into your moments of confusion, and victory into your ongoing battles. And if you must repeat anything, let it always be the truth. You are not passively waiting for the world to change. You are actively commanding your world to rise. The external landscape transforms when your internal language does. So open your mouth and actively build your world with your words. Stillness is strength, not weakness in a world perpetually rushing. The concept of stillness often feels like falling behind. The clock relentlessly ticks, society praises constant busyness as if noise inherently equates to progress. But this is a deceptive illusion sold to the perpetually hurried and harried. Stillness is not the absence of action. It is the fundamental foundation of all truly effective action. It is the sacred space where clarity resides, where genuine strength is deeply rooted, and where deliberate direction is meticulously refined. You are not weak when you consciously pause. You are profoundly wise. The individual who races forward blindly, without a clear map, may indeed cover vast distances, but often in the entirely wrong direction. The person who deliberately stops to study the stars, to feel the subtle shifts in the wind, and to carefully examine the ground beneath them, they strike with unparalleled precision, and every single step they take holds immense significance. Busyness is not synonymous with progress. Mere motion is not the same as genuine momentum. Stillness is the secret chamber where all great leaders, profound thinkers, and formidable builders retreat. It is within the silence that true wisdom eloquently speaks. It is within the pause that unwavering purpose becomes strikingly visible. Consider a master, sculptor before a block of raw stone. They do not wildly hack at the marble, hoping that greatness will emerge purely by accident. No, they pause. They meticulously observe. They gently run their hands across the surface, sensing its contours. They meticulously study the angles and the hidden grain. And then, with calm, unshakable certainty, they make their very first cut. That is precisely how true greatness is shaped, not through frantic activity, but through intense, deliberate focus. Stillness is not an empty void. It is abundant with vital information, profound insight, and powerful intention. Ask yourself, when was the last time you were truly still? Not scrolling mindlessly, not rushing aimlessly, not performing for external validation. Just genuinely present, just deeply aware, just authentically you. Have you been primarily reacting to life's events, or are you actively creating your life with purpose? Most people exist in a constant state of reacting to opinions, to fleeting trends, to overwhelming noise. But the rare few deliberately step out of the storm and into the profound silence, where they attentively listen. And from that deep listening emerges profound clarity. And from that clarity emerges an unwavering direction. And from that direction emerges true, unstoppable power. Stillness is the sacred space where you recalibrate your internal compass. It's where you release accumulated tension, let go of emotional clutter, and consciously remember what truly matters. It is in the stillness that the quiet whisper of truth can finally be heard. The whisper that reminds you, you were not designed to run aimlessly without reason. You were designed to move with profound meaning. In stillness, you remember who you are beyond the external noise. You reconnect with your core values. You rediscover your deepest vision. You learn that it is not the loudest, most insistent thought that holds the most truth, but the calm, still, small voice that resonates beneath it all. If you desire to act with true power, first sit with profound purpose. Stillness is not inaction. It is the crucial prelude to the right action. It is not weakness, it is meticulous preparation. The greatest athletes pause deliberately before their explosive sprint. The wisest generals carefully wait before launching their attack. The strongest trees stand in stillness as their roots grow deep. From silence springs clarity, from clarity springs conviction, and from conviction springs unstoppable momentum. This concept isn't about rigid meditation techniques or seeking remote retreat centers. This is about integrating stillness into your daily life. 5 minutes before your day truly begins, to simply breathe and ask, what matters most today? A brief pause before an important conversation to inquire, what essential truth must I convey here? A sacred second before reacting to anger to thoughtfully consider, is this reaction truly worthy of the person I aspire to be? Stillness is your inherent strength, not a surrender. In a society that constantly urges you to prove your worth through relentless busyness, deliberately choosing stillness is an act of profound rebellion. And it is also a powerful act of self-mastery. Because while the world will continue its relentless spin, you get to consciously decide precisely where you plant your feet. When you sit with clear intention, you begin to perceive what others consistently miss. You begin to hear what others habitually drown out. You begin to move with an intrinsic rhythm that is uniquely your own, steady, strong, and utterly unshakable. So do not fear the silence. Do not flee from the pause. Step into it wholeheartedly. Let it shape you. Let it reveal profound truths to you. Let it profoundly center you. You were not created to be frantic. You were designed to be deeply focused. Allow stillness to become your unique superpower. Let silence teach you how to speak with impact. Let reflection guide you on where to strike with precision. Then, and only then, will your actions carry the true weight of unwavering purpose. The world around you may be rushing, but you are building something enduring. Every day is a choice. Comfort or growth, you cannot simultaneously walk both roads, the path of comfort and the path of growth. One offers immediate ease and feels good in the moment. The other demands effort and feels profoundly right in the context of your future. And each morning, you are faced with this critical choice, not just once or twice, but daily, with every single action, every decision, every excuse you accept, or every push forward you make. You cast your vote. You decide who you are actively becoming. For no one passively drifts into greatness. It is a summit climbed inch by laborious inch, choice by deliberate choice. Comfort is an incredibly tempting road. It often disguises itself as safety. It speaks in soothing tones, telling you that you can afford to wait, that perhaps next week, or next year, or next time, you'll finally be ready. It offers empty praise for simply doing the bare minimum. It meticulously shields you from the sting of rejection by subtly persuading you never to truly risk anything. It embraces you gently while silently stealing your fire. Comfort, in its essence, is a slow, insidious surrender disguised as self-care. But growth whispers a profoundly different tune. It challenges you. It beckons you forward. It stirs something ancient and wild deep within your very bones. It does not flatter, it demands. It doesn't concern itself with your schedule or convenience. Growth audaciously throws you into the vast unknown and unequivocally declares, build your wings on the way down. And yet, it is precisely this challenging path that unlocks your true, hidden strength. For the vital muscles of the mind, spirit, and will are only forged through sustained resistance. Imagine two distinct fires. One burns with thrilling heat and brilliant light, captivating to observe, but ultimately fleeting. It dazzles briefly and then quickly fades. The other burns deeply, steadily, consistently, fueled by unwavering patience and relentless persistence. Growth is this second fire. It demands more effort to ignite, more dedication to maintain, but it never simply vanishes. It sustains you. It becomes an enduring source of warmth and light for countless others. Comfort might brighten your evening, but consistent growth will keep you warm for a lifetime. You might say, but I truly don't feel ready, and you would be entirely correct. No one ever truly does. Growth never feels like a familiar, comforting home at first. It feels like stretching your limits, like encountering failure, like navigating profound uncertainty. But those very sensations are undeniable proof that you are not stagnating. They are powerful indicators that you are moving, becoming, and advancing. Comfort feels like an illusion of control. Growth feels like pure courage. One keeps you safe. The other makes you fundamentally strong. So, honestly ask yourself, where in your life are you choosing ease over vital evolution? Are you consistently doing what is merely familiar, or are you embracing what actively forges you into a stronger, new version of yourself? Are you actively reaching for more, or passively reclining into less? Are you merely surviving, or are you authentically growing? Every significant breakthrough begins with a decisive choice to do the uncomfortable thing, to bravely face that difficult conversation, to take the crucial first step even when the path ahead is unclear, to show up consistently even without external applause. You become strong not because the journey is easy, but precisely because it is immensely worth the effort. Discipline, grit, mastery, these are not innate gifts. They are hard-earned, and their price is paid in sweat, perseverance, and unwavering commitment. The undeniable truth is, comfort may allow you to merely survive, but growth is how you truly thrive. Comfort keeps you exactly where you are. Growth propels you to where you are genuinely meant to be. Comfort speaks the language of fear. Growth speaks the empowering language of faith. And every time you choose growth, you meticulously write a new, more compelling chapter in your own destiny. So today, dare to risk more. Try again with renewed vigor. Rise now. Say yes to the very thing that makes your stomach flutter with apprehension. Embrace the unfamiliar path. Allow the discomfort to refine you, rather than letting it define you. Be the person who bravely chose the climb over the comfort of the couch. The one who deliberately picked the pain of purpose over the fleeting pleasure of passivity. For in the end, the comfort you willingly sacrifice today transforms into the profound greatness you will undeniably carry tomorrow. Choose the stretch. Choose the sweat. Because your future is not built by your fleeting feelings, but by your decisive choices. Choose growth. You are the root, not the fruit. People often chase outcomes. They relentlessly crave the finish line, the roar of applause, the tangible rewards. But outcomes are merely the fruit, and no fruit can possibly grow without deep, strong roots. You cannot demand a bountiful harvest without first diligently tending to the soil from which it springs. The world may celebrate and praise what it visually perceives on the outside, but the enduring strength and vitality of your life are always firmly anchored in the unseen, in your profound inner foundation. Most individuals become utterly obsessed with results. They constantly ask, what will I get? When will it arrive? Why haven't I succeeded yet? But these are the incorrect questions to be asking. The truly pertinent question is, who am I becoming? Because who you are, at your core, is the root. Your foundational beliefs, your unwavering discipline, your profound patience, your unyielding resilience, these are the elements that nourish the soil. These are the elements that ultimately determine the quality and abundance of your fruit. Do not truly grow by simply chasing more external acquisitions. You grow by fundamentally becoming more within yourself. And when you authentically become more, the desired results cannot help but naturally manifest. You become a magnetic force drawing your goals closer, not by blindly pursuing them, but by meticulously preparing and developing yourself inwardly. Imagine a tree shouting angrily at its branches, demanding that they bear more fruit while simultaneously neglecting its own roots. It would be utterly absurd. Yet, this is precisely what people do every single day when they demand immediate success, without sufficient self-reflection, without consistent discipline, without dedicated daily development. They diligently water their public image while tragically neglecting their inner integrity. They meticulously polish their external profile while forgetting their core purpose. The roots are invisible, silent, and slow-growing, yet they are everything. They are the hidden strength that allows the tree to stand tall and unyielding in the fiercest storm. When the winds of failure inevitably blow, when doubt and delay attempt to erode your spirit, it is not your ambition alone that will hold you steady. It is your deeply cultivated character. It is your unwavering commitment to personal growth, cultivated in the quiet moments, when no one else is observing. Ask yourself each day, what have I consciously done to feed the root of my being? Did I genuinely study something that expanded my thinking? Did I diligently train a skill that fortifies my path forward? Did I extend grace and forgive someone who truly needed it? Did I courageously speak truth when silence would have been the easier option? These may not be glamorous questions, but they are the fundamental ones that construct a powerful, enduring life. You can bypass many things in life, but you cannot bypass the essential inner work. You cannot cheat the natural process. You cannot expect to harvest a field you never bothered to sow. The world may offer tempting shortcuts, but nature never does. The immutable law of the seed is absolute. What you plant, you will ultimately harvest, but only after you meticulously nurture it, diligently protect it, and patiently wait for its season. Focus more intently on who you are becoming than on what you are currently achieving. Goals are undoubtedly necessary, but they are not your ultimate identity. Titles fade, applause eventually ceases, trophies gather dust. But who you become, through the process that endures, that resonates in every space you enter, that powerfully shapes your future long after any fleeting reward has passed. There is a profound kind of power that emanates from a deeply rooted life. It doesn't need to shout. It doesn't crave external approval. It walks with a quiet, unshakable confidence because it knows the foundational work has been diligently completed in private. Rooted individuals don't merely perform. They persevere. They don't just impress. They profoundly impact. So, cease measuring your progress solely by the visible fruit. Instead, measure it by your consistent daily effort, your unwavering alignment, your profound self-honesty. Measure it by how often you courageously show up, even when you feel unseen or unappreciated. Measure it by how deeply you are willing to grow beneath the surface where the true strength resides. You don't truly grow by chasing more external gains. You grow by fundamentally becoming more within yourself. You grow when you bravely confront difficult truths, when you deliberately choose discipline over fleeting ease, when you decisively say no to trivial distractions and an emphatic yes to your true direction, when you cease trying to merely look successful and begin earnestly striving to be solid, grounded, and authentic. And when the root is undeniably strong, the fruit will inevitably follow always. Not necessarily immediately, but certainly and profoundly, inevitably. Because life profoundly honors the individual who consistently honors the process. Your root is your personal responsibility. Feed it, protect it, cultivate its growth. Let others chase the fleeting fruit. Your singular focus should be on diligently building the root. Progress is not always loud. Progress often whispers. It doesn't arrive with blaring trumpets or sensational headlines. It doesn't explode into your life with celebratory fanfare. More often, it manifests as a quiet, internal affirmation. The firm decision to rise again, to try once more, to remain committed for just one more day. In a world that fervently glorifies instant success, this quiet, unassuming form of progress is frequently overlooked. Yet, it is undeniably the most powerful kind. We have been conditioned to anticipate fireworks. We mistakenly believe that success is always dramatic, a viral moment, a huge, applause-generating leap. But true, sustainable success, it is steady, it is faithful. It might seem boring to the impatient, but it is nothing short of miraculous to the truly disciplined. Because the most robust and enduring structures are never erected overnight. They painstakingly rise one brick at a time. They are meticulously forged not in chaos, but in rhythm. Not in fleeting bursts of motivation, but in unshakable resolve. Imagine someone diligently practicing scales on a piano. There is no grand stage, no adoring audience, just relentless repetition, unwavering focus, an empty room, and the profound will to become more. Each note played sharpens the fingers. Each hour spent meticulously fine-tunes the hearing. The day will undoubtedly arrive when the music pours forth effortlessly, but that day is purchased by the thousands of unseen, dedicated days that preceded it. Progress whispers, and only those with profound patience are capable of truly hearing it. Only those with unwavering vision can discern its subtle presence in the mundane. You may not feel significantly stronger after just one workout, or notably wiser after reading just one chapter, or remarkably freer after a single difficult conversation. But something profound does shift within you. A new layer is added. A vital thread is strengthened. These small, often unseen, victories are precisely what make ultimate greatness inevitable. Ask yourself, am I discounting the slow, incremental gains? Am I unfairly judging my entire journey based on today's lack of external applause? Am I tempted to abandon my efforts simply because no one else is currently observing me? If you answer yes to any of these, you are not alone. But remember this crucial truth. External applause is not an accurate measure of your intrinsic worth. Visibility is not definitive proof of value. What is meticulously built in the quiet solitude of the dark meticulously prepares you for the eventual light. The most vital work is often unglamorous. It looks like diligently studying when you're physically tired. It looks like consistently practicing kindness even when you're deeply frustrated. It looks like decisively saying no to tempting shortcuts and an unwavering yes to the long, often arduous, narrow road. It involves choosing profound alignment over fleeting external approval and unwavering discipline over temporary comfort. It is not flashy, but it is absolutely foundational that every day you make the conscious choice not to quit. You are meticulously placing another brick on the path of your future. Every act of deliberate effort, every repetition, every single moment of persistence is actively forming the bridge to your desired future. And here's the undeniable truth. That bridge is either being meticulously built or gradually crumbling. With every single decision you make, there is no neutral ground. You are either consistently reinforcing your inherent strength or inadvertently reinforcing your lingering excuses. You may not yet be precisely where you aspire to be. But if you are consistently moving forward, even slowly, you are not stuck. You are in a powerful process. You are actively under construction. And construction, by its very nature, is often messy before it becomes truly magnificent. So keep building, keep showing up. Even when no one notices you, especially then. Because the day will inevitably come when the world marvels at your finished structure. They will likely attribute it to luck, inherent giftedness, or divine blessing. But you will know. You will deeply know that it was the persistent whisper of progress, the silent, dedicated days of consistently showing up, of relentlessly pushing forward, of resolutely choosing not to quit, that ultimately made all. The profound difference: you won't need to feign strength when that day arrives. You will already embody it. You will confidently step into your true calling with the quiet, unshakable confidence of someone who has diligently trained in the shadows, who has meticulously earned every single step. The external spotlight is not the ultimate goal. The profound work itself is. The final outcome is not the sole reward. The remarkable person you become in the process truly is. And if you can learn to genuinely fall in love with the process, to truly honor the persistent whisper of progress, you will never truly lose. So today, perform the seemingly small things with immense care. Repeat the seemingly insignificant step. Honor the consistent habit that meticulously builds your foundation, because unwavering consistency compounds. And what begins as a faint whisper eventually transforms into the undeniable roar of monumental success. Brick by brick, step by determined step, keep going. Progress is continuously happening, even if you cannot yet consciously perceive it. Doubt is the tax on ambition. Every grand dream comes with an intrinsic toll: doubt. It never arrives alone. It invariably rides alongside ambition, whispering insidious questions and planting paralyzing hesitation. The more expansive your vision, the louder this inner voice typically becomes. But understand this fundamental truth: doubt is not your adversary. It is not a rigid stop sign. Rather, it is a crucial signal, an undeniable sign that you are embarking on something genuinely significant, something that truly matters. You might wonder, why do I experience such intense fear every time I reach for something higher? Why does the leap towards something fundamentally better feel so incredibly heavy? The answer lies in the profound realm of identity. You are actively moving beyond the comfortable limits of who you previously were, and your old self does not surrender quietly. Doubt screams loudly when it perceives you evolving. It yells because it fears its own irrelevance. It instinctively knows it cannot survive in the new, stronger version of yourself that is emerging. Consider a massive bridge currently under construction. The ground visibly trembles beneath the weight. The colossal steel girders groan audibly. Bolts are relentlessly tightened under immense pressure. Clouds of dust billow into the air, and a cacophony of noise surrounds the site. This is not a sign of collapse. This is the unmistakable sound of expansion. This is precisely what it feels like when something entirely new and monumental is being built. The same principle applies to your personal journey. That intense resistance you feel is not a breakdown. It is irrefutable evidence of profound transformation. So, what incredible feats would you attempt if you ceased interpreting doubt as an inherent danger? What audacious new step would you take if you viewed fear not as a restrictive red light, but as a liberating green light signaling you are on the very edge of profound growth? The truth is, doubt doesn't simply disappear by waiting passively. It doesn't magically vanish through excessive overthinking. You conquer doubt not through endless arguments, but through decisive, consistent action. You effectively silence it with tangible results. You diminish its power with unwavering consistency. You ultimately overcome it through relentless forward movement. You don't have to completely erase doubt. You simply need to resolutely refuse to obey its dictates. You need to walk directly beside it and keep pressing onward. Doubt is permitted to ride in the car, but it absolutely does not get to drive. So, the next time doubt makes its presence known, do not panic. Instead, acknowledge it with a knowing smile. Its appearance means you are moving. It signifies that the old version of you is feeling the intense pressure of your current expansion. It means you are standing at the very threshold of something far greater than anything you have previously known. Ask yourself this deeply important question: what version of me does this significant dream genuinely require? What level of faith, what intensity of focus, and what unwavering follow-through must I embody right now? Because it's not merely about possessing a goal. It's profoundly about becoming the precise person who is capable of carrying that goal to successful completion. And in that challenging process of becoming, doubt will inevitably surface. It will whisper, "You aren't ready." But you can confidently answer, "I am becoming ready." It will try to undermine you by murmuring, "What if you fail?" And you can calmly reply, "Then I will learn valuable lessons." Doubt thrives in silence and inaction, but it loses its power when you bravely confront it with unwavering truth. Remember, your future does not demand a flawless mindset. It asks for a profoundly committed one. You can stumble forward. You can push through the fear, even sweating with apprehension. You can bring your uncertainty along for the ride. As long as you absolutely do not stop. Every great achiever, every influential leader, every true visionary has battled against doubt. But what unequivocally separates the truly fulfilled from the perpetually frustrated is that the former consciously chose to walk directly through the fear. They definitively decided that the potential cost of regret was far greater than the temporary discomfort of risk. They perceived doubt not as a final verdict, but as a crucial test. If doubt is present, it means the dream is real and significant. If you are feeling profound resistance, it means you are actively pushing into entirely new territory. Let that insight profoundly encourage you, not discourage you. Let it fuel your resolve. Let it serve as a powerful reminder that you are actively growing. The most impactful shift you can make is this. Instead of asking, "How do I get rid of doubt?" ask, "How can I purposefully move forward with it?" Because when you consciously choose to act, even while uncertain, you irrevocably prove to yourself that true courage is not the absence of fear. It is the unwavering decision that something greater matters infinitely more. So stand tall when doubt arrives. Acknowledge it for showing up. Then, outwork it. Outlast it. Because what lies on the other side is not just a successful result. It is a transformed new you. And in that version of yourself, they don't fear doubt. They skillfully use it as a guiding compass. Teach the world how to treat you. Respect is not something you demand. It is something you consciously train others to give. Not with force, but with consistency. Not through sheer volume, but through unwavering values. Every single day, by the way you carry yourself, by the way you speak to yourself, and by how firmly you hold your personal boundaries, you are actively instructing the world on how it should treat you. Your actions serve as direct instructions. Your standards are unmistakable signals. What you tolerate, you implicitly invite. What you consistently reinforce, you will ultimately receive. People instinctively mirror the energy you project. If you move through life with quiet confidence, they will respond in kind. If you carry yourself with inherent dignity, they will learn to approach you with appropriate consideration. But if you habitually accept disrespect, even in seemingly small doses, the world will unfortunately assume that is your acceptable level. This is not about arrogance. It is about profound self-alignment. When you respect yourself deeply, consistently, and quietly, others are compelled to rise to meet that very standard, or they will naturally remove themselves from your orbit. Imagine a person entering a room, shoulders back, head held high, radiating calm yet firm presence. They don't overtly demand attention. They don't chase external validation. They are deeply rooted in who they genuinely are. They speak only when necessary. Listen attentively when wisdom dictates, and act decisively when it truly counts. That powerful presence sets an undeniable tone. It's not about being the loudest. It's about being the clearest. That is strength. That is true leadership. Ask yourself, am I setting the tone for my own life, or am I passively allowing others to dictate it for me? Do I begin my day with clear intention, or do I merely react to everyone else's urgent demands? Have I made it unequivocally clear, through both my words and my actions, that my time is valuable, my voice carries weight, and my core values are absolutely not for sale? Respect fundamentally begins within. If your internal dialogue is saturated with self-doubt, your external world will inevitably reflect that internal state. If you consistently dismiss your own boundaries, others will soon follow suit. You cannot genuinely expect others to value what you consistently undervalue within yourself. Self-respect is not ego. It is a deep, internal self-alignment. It is walking your own truth without apology, without compromise. You do not need to argue desperately for respect. You do not need to shout to gain it. You simply need to show up clear, consistent, and deeply committed to your own truth. People learn from your consistent repetition. They meticulously observe how you respond when tested, how you articulate yourself when challenged, and how firmly you stand when under pressure. That unwavering consistency builds your reputation, and over time, that reputation will command respect without you ever having to explicitly demand it. If your life frequently feels chaotic, if your personal boundaries are constantly being breached, don't solely focus on what others are doing. Instead, honestly examine what you have been allowing. Reflect on the times you said yes when your heart yearned to say no. Consider the moments you remained silent when your voice was desperately needed. Think about the people you've allowed to remain in your life out of fear, guilt, or mere comfort. The world treats you precisely the way you consistently treat yourself. You are the definitive standard. You set the example not just once, but daily. Not in grand, showy gestures, but in countless small, deliberate choices. Do you faithfully keep your promises to yourself? Do you show up on time for your own goals and aspirations? Do you intentionally create space for your own rest, your own needs, your own personal growth? When you consistently do these things, you radiate a quiet, undeniable authority. And that is the very kind of power that effortlessly earns respect without ever needing to explicitly ask for it. Set the tone. Speak with crystal clarity. Act with unwavering purpose. Hold your personal space, not to intimidate, but to genuinely inspire. Not to dominate, but to clearly define who you are. And those who are truly meant for your life, in work, in friendship, in love, will naturally rise to meet that energy. The rest will simply fade away. This journey is not about achieving perfection. It is about cultivating an unwavering presence. It is about confidently declaring to the world, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. And this is what I will no longer accept. So begin today. Look into the mirror and gently remind yourself, you don't chase respect, you meticulously cultivate it. You consistently reinforce it. You actively train others how to offer it. Set the standard high, then live it authentically. The future is built by what you refuse to neglect. It is not the grand, singular actions that ultimately shape your destiny. It is what you consistently refuse to stop doing. The future does not belong to the impulsive or the erratic. It belongs unequivocally to those who diligently protect what truly matters, their constructive habits, their core values, and their most cherished dreams, with quiet, daily commitment. Success is not a sudden flash. It is a persistent flame, meticulously kept alive through consistent discipline. Neglect is a quiet, insidious thief. It doesn't announce its arrival with loud disturbances or blatant chaos. Instead, it whispers enticingly. It suggests, just skip today. You'll get back to it soon. But soon subtly transforms into someday. Someday tragically becomes never. And valuable momentum slowly dissolves into bitter regret. When you finally look back, the path you intended to walk is overgrown and impassable, and the vast distance between who you are and who you were genuinely becoming feels utterly unbearable. Consider a vibrant garden. Stop watering it for just one day, no apparent difference. Stop for a week. Perhaps it still seems fine. But stop for a month, and the weeds will decisively win. They always do, if left unchecked. Your cherished dreams, your vital disciplines, your precious relationships, they are all like gardens. They demand consistent care, not just once, not merely when it's convenient, but daily. Because neglect is never neutral. It actively rewrites your future, one ignored task, one unspoken word, one passive allowance at a time. Ask yourself, what seemingly small task have I allowed to slide? What essential habit have I convinced myself can wait indefinitely? What important relationship have I stopped actively tending to? What inherent talent have I ignored, idly hoping it will patiently await my return? These are not minor lapses. They are crucial early warnings. And the wise individual listens intently to these whispers before they escalate into deafening shouts. True greatness does not require massive, explosive bursts of effort. It does not depend solely on fleeting surges of motivation or intermittent streaks of brilliance. It is meticulously built slowly, consistently, and quietly. One act of diligent follow-through. One moment of consciously choosing discipline over immediate ease. One resolute refusal to neglect what truly matters. You must diligently protect your positive habits as a farmer safeguards their precious seeds. You must treat your daily routines as sacred, inviolable commitments. You must guard your core values with the vigilance of a watchman protecting a vital gate. Because every time you say, "Not today," you make it incrementally harder for tomorrow's progress to even begin. Discipline makes the future lighter and more manageable. Neglect makes it heavier and burdensome. You don't need to completely overhaul your life overnight. You simply need to genuinely recommit to the small vital things you already instinctively know matter. Wake up with a clear purpose. Honor your morning routine. Keep the promise you made to yourself regarding your health. Return that important call. Reopen that insightful book. Resume practicing that valuable skill. These actions may appear small today, but they profoundly shape every aspect of your tomorrow. Consistency is the unwavering engine of transformation, not drama, not passion alone. The person who ultimately triumphs is not the one who possessed the most initial energy, but the one who simply kept showing up day after day. Because every time you consciously choose to show up, you place another crucial brick on the path of your future. The cost of discipline is temporary discomfort, but the cost of neglect is potential devastation. And the insidious danger of neglect is that it initially feels harmless, but that small break quickly morphs into a habit. That skipped step rapidly becomes a deeply ingrained pattern. That slight delay tragically evolves into a passive lifestyle. So, what essential commitment must you return to today? What did you once care about deeply, but have allowed to gradually drift away? What part of yourself are you currently waiting to feel ready to reclaim? Stop waiting. Start watering your inner garden. Start diligently pulling the weeds. Start actively feeding the soil. If you commit to consistently nurturing the little things, the big, ambitious things will eventually take care of themselves. If you take meticulous care of today, tomorrow gains undeniable power. Because the profound reward of discipline is not just external success, it is inherent strength. It is deep self-trust. It is inner peace. You become an individual who consistently follows through. Someone who resolutely does not abandon what truly matters. Neglect orchestrates a slow, silent demise, not with dramatic failures, but with forgotten dreams. But unwavering discipline meticulously writes an everlasting reward. It may feel slow, it may feel unrecognized by others, but it leaves behind an enduring legacy. It builds a life you can genuinely be proud of. So today, renew your vow to what truly matters most. Don't chase fleeting intensity. Chase unwavering consistency. Be the one who steadfastly returns to the important work, who resolutely refuses to let the weeds win. The world doesn't require more dramatic gestures. It desperately needs more steady hands that build, that tend, that protect. Refuse to neglect the very things that make you strong. And you will never truly be weak. You are the author of the next chapter. Whatever yesterday brought, whether it was failure, heartbreak, or profound confusion, it definitively ended last night. When your eyes opened this morning, the page of your life turned. A new chapter began, and firmly in your hand rests the pen. You may not control every single event that unfolds in life, but you are the undeniable author of your response to them. You are the one who writes the very next line of your story. It is easy to fall into the belief that your past permanently defines you, that the broken moments, the missed opportunities, the words you desperately wish you could retract, have irrevocably marked your life. But let me offer a powerful reminder. Though you cannot alter the past itself, you can absolutely change the pattern of your responses to it. And that fundamental shift changes everything. You are not merely a character in your own unfolding narrative. You are the dedicated author. And authors revise. They evolve. They learn from their past work. They deliberately shift direction when the story calls for something greater, something more profound. The page before this one may indeed be marked with pain, but the page ahead is completely blank, unwritten, and entirely yours to create. Imagine someone staring intently at a half-finished manuscript. The earlier chapters are filled with evident mistakes, moments of profound weakness or significant loss. And yet, they don't tear the entire book apart. They don't simply discard it in frustration. Instead, they pick up the pen, take a deep, centering breath, and begin a brand new sentence. That person could be you. Today is that very moment, a comma, not a definitive period. A crucial turn, not a final dead end. Ask yourself, what do I want the very next chapter of my life to genuinely sound like? Not in vague hopes, but in clear, decisive intentions. What will I consciously create? What will I choose to pursue? What will I intentionally forgive, and what challenges will I courageously overcome? What specific actions, both small and powerfully strong, will truly honor the remarkable person I am actively becoming? You are not bound by the former pages of your life. They are undeniably a part of your story, yes, but they are certainly not the whole of it, and they are most definitely not the ultimate end. Redemption is not exclusively reserved for the lucky. It is courageously carved out by the brave. It does not arrive by merely wishing things had been different in the past. It manifests by decisively choosing that things will be different. Moving forward. Your future is not written in the fading ink of your regrets. It is vibrantly written in the indelible ink of your unwavering resolve. So how do you genuinely begin again? You begin by turning the page mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. You choose to forgive yourself. You choose to release what you fundamentally cannot fix. You courageously take ownership of what you can control and influence. You replace self-defeating guilt with empowering growth. You trade debilitating shame for strategic action. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and powerfully begin asking, "What will I deliberately do with what happened?" Every compelling story includes a pivotal moment, a crucial pivot point, when the main character decisively chooses courage over comfort, unwavering faith over paralyzing fear, and proactive progress over debilitating paralysis. That moment could be now. That transformative character could indeed be you. Your past is not a permission slip to remain small or constrained. It is profound preparation to rise even stronger and wiser. Every stumble you experienced taught you something invaluable. Every heartbreak you endured refined your character. Every perceived failure reveals what truly matters to you. These are not indelible stains on your story. They are powerful underlines. They highlight the very moments that meticulously shaped your strength. Let others dwell on and reread your old pages. However, you must consistently write new ones. You show up differently now. You commit to the new paragraph, the better decision, the higher standard for yourself, not for external applause, but for profound internal alignment. Not to merely impress others, but to truly transform yourself. There is something inherently powerful about making a definitive decision. About declaring, "I don't know exactly how this story ends, but I will no longer allow the past to hold the pen." That is precisely how stories shift dramatically. That is precisely how individuals rise to their true potential. So today, write something fresh and new. It doesn't have to be perfect. It simply needs to be real, honest, and decisively forward-moving. Refuse to let yesterday define your forever. Refuse to passively sit in a life that feels paused. Turn the page, begin again. Not because it's easy, not because you feel completely ready, but because your unique story deserves far more than a mere rerun. It deserves a resurrection. It deserves a powerful rise, and it all begins with one deliberate line. One conscious choice, one brave new sentence. Start writing. Don't let life's tough moments extinguish your inner light. Hit play and uncover the profound mindset that transforms every breakdown into an undeniable breakthrough. This isn't about naive, blind hope. It's about cultivating unshakable foundational strength. Subscribe for more power-packed lessons designed to help you remain grounded, intensely focused, and utterly unbreakable, no matter what challenges life throws your way. Start your powerful rise right now.